This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. Tribes and Native organizations are encouraged by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals stay issued this week in a Texas lower court's decision finding the Indian Child Welfare Act unconstitutional. In a joint response by 5 national Native groups, including the National Indian Child Welfare Association and the National Congress of American Indians, they state the decision to pause the ruling in the case Brackeen versus Zinke pending appeal is welcome news for Indian children and Indian families. It goes on to say, especially in states like Texas, where efforts are underway to remove the law's protections. Plaintiffs, including Texas and foster parents, sued the federal government over adoptions, claiming the law is race-based. In October, the federal district court for the Northern District of Texas ruled the law unconstitutional. The decades-old law is intended to keep Native children with Native families. Tribes across the country and Native groups have vowed to fight for protections under the law. The state of Alaska has begun the process of giving about 13 acres of land the state developed without permission back to the village of Gulkana. Nick Jackson is the vice president of the village council.
Saturday was a big day for Gulkana. They got their land back.
According to a news release from then-Governor Bill Walker, the village formally agreed to the process Saturday. The move came 3 days before Walker's successor, Mike Dunleavy, was sworn into office. Jackson is not sure how the new administration will handle the agreement, but hopes it would be honored. In 1943, the Alaska Road Commission built a bridge across Gulkana River, splitting the village in half. Jackson says the village was forced to relocate. When the project was finished, Jackson says the land was to be given back to the village, but that never happened.
Ever since then, back in 72, we started trying to get it back. So that's what we've been working with different administrations all the way to Saturday. Finally, we convinced them.
A parking lot and camping area sit upon the former village site and about 100 graves. The agreement creates a 30-day comment period before a public hearing. The Arizona Supreme Court has sided with a ski resort in a long-standing challenge to artificial snowmaking using reclaimed wastewater. As KNAU's Ryan Heinches reports, the Hopi Tribe contends it desecrates sacred sites and prevents religious ceremonies.
A split decision by the state's high court rejected the Hopi argument that snowmaking at Arizona Snow Bowl on the San Francisco Peaks causes a special injury to the tribe. The majority wrote that such a classification must be tied to monetary or property interests. Snow Bowl began making snow in 2012 using treated effluent it purchases from the city of Flagstaff. The peaks are located on the Coconino National Forest and considered sacred by more than a dozen southwestern tribes. Snow Bowl and the city didn't comment on the decision, but in a statement the tribe said the long-term impact of snowmaking is immeasurable on the natural resources, shrines, and springs of the peaks. Chief Justice Scott Bales, in a dissenting opinion, wrote that the Hopi face the destruction of some of their most sacred locations and practices. The Arizona Supreme Court ruling on the Hopi lawsuit ends years of legal challenges to snowmaking brought by numerous tribes. For National Native News, I'm Ryan Heinches in Flagstaff.
A proposal headed to New Mexico's upcoming legislative session seeks to rename Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day, the Associated Press reports. Native American state lawmaker Derek Lenti is preparing a bill to rename the holiday. Some cities in the state have already moved to celebrate Indigenous people instead of Columbus Day in October. New Mexico's legislative session opens in January. Lawmakers are working on pre-filing their bills this month. I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced at the Annenberg National Native Voice Studios by Kawanak Broadcast Corporation. Funding is by Odawi Law Group, provider of Indian law solutions, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, with support from the Public Radio Satellite System.
Support by Canyon Records, producer of Native American music, including Young Spirit's Red Dress Special, powwow songs recorded live at Santa Rosa Rancheria. All Canyon titles available at iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and CanyonRecords.com. Support by the American Indian Higher Education Consortium, 36 culturally based open-door colleges created by and for American Indians. Low-cost tuition for certificate programs to master's degree programs. Info at aihec.org.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.